Hello friends, I welcome you in lecture number 5 on infinite series. In previous lecture we have discussed what is integral test and we have done 2 examples on integral test. In this lecture also we will do one more important problem on the integral test. So we are going to discuss one important series known as P series. So the P series is this series sigma 1 over n raised to p n equal to 1 to infinity, where p is a real constant. So due to this p power of this n, or we can see every term has p power in the denominator, 1 over 1 raised to p plus 1 over 2 raised to p plus 1 over 3 raised to p and so on. Nth term is 1 over n raised to p. So due to this p powers, this series is also known as P series. So we want to prove that this series converges if p greater than 1 and diverges if p is less than or equal to 1. So first we have written given series, which is sigma 1 over n raised to p, n is from 1 to infinity. The nth term of this series is 1 over n raised to p. Now for this p power we have two possibilities, either power is positive or power is negative. So we first consider the case of p less than 0. So first we consider case 1. We discuss the convergence when p is negative. Okay, fine. So for p negative, we apply nth term test for divergence. Suppose we consider 1 over n raised to p, and here we assume that p is negative. So if p is negative, we check what is limit of nth term. So limit of an is equal to limit n tends to infinity 1 over n raised to p. Now p is negative, so suppose p equal to minus m, where m is positive real number, then 1 over n raised to p will be equal to 1 over n raised to minus m, which is going to be n raised to m, and as n tends to infinity, because we have positive power, this is going to be infinity. So if p is negative, limit of nth term is infinity, and which is different from 0. So by the nth term test for divergence, we can say that series is divergent if p is negative. So sigma 1 over n raised to p, n equal to 1 to infinity, is divergent if p is less than 0, because for p less than 0, limit of nth term is infinity. So this sigma 1 over n raised to p, that is p series, is divergent if p is less than 0. Now we consider the case of p equal to 0. Suppose we consider p equal to 0, second case. So if p is 0, our an is n raised to p. So for p equal to 0, nth term becomes 1 over n raised to 0, that is 1. So if we find out limit of nth term, limit n tends to infinity an, this is going to be limit of 1 as n tends to infinity, but 1 is independent of n, so it is equal to 1. So this is also non-zero. So therefore by nth term test for divergence, series is divergent if p equal to 0. So therefore sigma 1 over n raised to p is divergent if p equal to 0 by nth term test for divergence. Here also we have to mention series is divergent if p less than 0 by nth term test for divergence. So if p is less than or equal to 0, we have shown that p series is divergent using nth term test for divergence. Now we consider third possibility, that power p is positive. So now here nth term is 1 over n raised to p, and because every term is positive, we can apply integral test. Okay, we recall that in integral test we require that our function is positive. So this function, whatever we construct in integral test, is positive if every term of the series is positive. So if series has infinite number of negative terms, we cannot apply integral test. So here an is 1 over n raised to p, and every term is greater than 0 for all n greater than or equal to 1. So we can apply integral test. Before that, we have to construct a function by replacing n by x. So let fx equal to 1 over x raised to p. X belongs to closed open interval 1 to infinity. Now here power p is positive, x is in this interval, so clearly function is positive on this interval. So fx is greater than 0 for every x in closed open interval 1 to infinity. So therefore f is positive on closed open interval 1 to infinity, and it is clear that function is continuous because 1 is always continuous, being constant function. X raised to p being polynomial function is continuous, and x raised to p will never be 0 for any value of x. So therefore this function is continuous on closed open interval 1 to infinity. Now to check whether it is decreasing or not, we find out derivative of function f dash x is equal to d by dx of 1 over x raised to p. This is equal to d by dx of x raised to minus p, which is equal to minus p times x raised to minus p minus 1. So therefore f dash x is minus p divided by x raised to p plus 1. Now p is positive, x is also positive, so this whole quantity is positive. Therefore due to negative sign, f dash x is negative for every x in closed open interval 1 to infinity. So therefore f is decreasing on closed open interval 1 to infinity. So we are able to apply integral test because our function is positive, continuous and decreasing on 1 to infinity. So now we consider improper integral of this function over the interval 1 to infinity. So it is integral from 1 to infinity 1 over x raised to p dx. So by the definition of improper integral of type 1, we have to replace here infinity by b, and we consider limit as b tends to infinity x raised to minus p. We rewrite 1 over x raised to p as x raised to minus p. So this is equal to limit b tending to infinity x raised to minus p plus 1 divided by minus p plus 1. And because we have minus p plus 1 in the division, this is valid if p is not equal to 1. So for p equal to 1 we will discuss separately. So for the time being we assume that p is not equal to 1. So now this is equal to, now we put the limits, limit b tending to infinity, upper limit for x is b, so we have b raised to 1 minus p divided by 1 minus p minus, when x is 1, 1 raised to 1 minus p is 1, so minus 1 over 1 minus p. So now this is equal to, we can rewrite this as 1 over 1 minus p is independent of b. So we consider limit b tending to infinity b raised to 1 minus p. This 1 over 1 minus p is having limit 1 over 1 minus p because it is independent of b. So limit of 1 over 1 minus p as b tends to infinity is 1 over 1 minus p. And of course in all these things we have p different from 1. So here p is not equal to 1. For p equal to 1 we will discuss separately. Now here we don't have any idea about this power 1 minus p. It can be positive or negative. Suppose the power is positive, so here we have two possibilities. Power of b, that is 1 minus p, is positive and power is negative, and power will never be equal to 0 because p is not equal to 1. So if power of b is positive, then if we consider limit as b tends to infinity, we have infinity raised to 1 minus p, and if this power is positive, this limit is infinite. So if 1 minus p is positive, this limit is going to be infinity. Infinity into this 1 over 1 minus p, that is positive number, so infinity into positive number is infinity, and this is as it is. So if power of b is positive, that is if 1 minus p is positive, limit of b raised to 1 minus p as b tends to infinity is infinity. Now suppose power of b is negative, suppose 1 minus p is negative, then we have infinity raised to 1 minus p. Now because 1 minus p is negative, this is going to be 1 over infinity raised to something, so that will tend to 0. For example, suppose 1 minus p is minus 3, then we will have limit b tending to infinity 1 over b raised to 3, and if we consider limit, we have 1 over infinity raised to 3, which is 1 by infinity, which is equal to 0. So if power is negative, if 1 minus p is negative, limit of b raised to 1 minus p as b tends to infinity is 0. So we have this limit. So we have to take care of these simple things. So here we have used that if 1 minus p, if power is positive, this limit is infinite. If power is negative, this limit is 0. So now we can rewrite all these things. So if 1 minus p is positive, that is if p is less than 1, and 1 minus p is greater than 0, that we can rewrite as p greater than 1. So in this case we have infinity minus this finite number, that is going to be infinity, and in this case, that is if p is greater than 1, we have minus 1 over 1 minus p, that we can rewrite as 1 over p minus 1, and here p is not equal to 1, so we don't have any problem with division by p minus 1. So we can see, therefore integral from 1 to infinity fx dx is convergent if p greater than 1. And is divergent if p is less than 1. Because if p is greater than 1, integral has finite value. If p is less than 1, the value of integral is infinite. So therefore series is convergent. Sigma 1 over n raised to p n equal to 1 to infinity is convergent if p is greater than 1 and divergent if p is less than 1 by the integral test. Now we have to discuss about p equal to 1, because all these things are not valid for p equal to 1. So we discuss for p equal to 1 separately. If p equal to 1, so if p is 1, then our function or our nth term is 1 over n raised to p, that is 1 by n, and fx is 1 by x, x is in 1 to infinity. So this is clearly positive continuous and decreasing. Derivative is going to be minus 1 by x square, which is negative for all x. So now we directly consider integral of fx over 1 to infinity. So this is by the definition of improper integral, limit b tends to infinity, fx is 1 by x dx. Now integral of 1 by x is log mod x, but x is positive, so we directly write log x. X is from 1 to b. So this is equal to limit b tending to infinity log b minus log 1. Log 1 is 0, and we have to consider limit of log b as b tending to infinity, which is log infinity, and log infinity tends to infinity. So therefore integral is divergent 1 to infinity fx dx is divergent if p equal to 1. So therefore sigma 1 over n raised to p n equal to 1 to infinity is divergent if p equal to 1. For p equal to 1, this series becomes sigma 1 by n, n equal to 1 to infinity, and this is known as harmonic series. So the p series for p equal to 1 is sigma 1 by n, n equal to 1 to infinity, and it is known as harmonic series, and we have shown that harmonic series is divergent. So we have discussed all the cases. First case was P negative, and we have shown that series is divergent if P is negative. In second case, we have P greater than 0. So here also we separated into two parts, P not equal to 1 and P equal to 1. So for P equal to 1, series is divergent. If P is not equal to 1, then again we have two cases, P greater than 1, P less than 1. So series is convergent if P greater than 1 and divergent if P less than 1. So in all possible cases, we conclude that the series is convergent if and only if P is greater than 1, or the series is convergent if P greater than 1 and divergent if P is less than or equal to 1. So we have shown that the P series is convergent if and only if P is greater than 1. So therefore the P series sigma 1 over n raised to P, n equal to 1 to infinity, is convergent if P is greater than 1 and divergent if P is less than or equal to 1. So we will remember this important result. This P series is convergent if and only if P is greater than 1. So we are going to use this series frequently in upcoming lectures. So we will remember that P series is convergent if and only if P is greater than 1. And we have noted this series in above example, that sigma 1 equal n equal to 1 to infinity 1 by n is divergent because power P is 1. So this series is known as harmonic series. So we can discuss the convergence of this series using integral test, which we have discussed here. So harmonic series is always divergent. One more thing which we have to remember, that to apply integral test to a given series, because we require that our function is positive, we must be clear that we can apply integral test for those series for which an is greater than 0 for all n, that is all the terms of this series must be positive, otherwise we cannot apply integral test. For example, if we consider 1 minus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 5 minus 1 by 6 and so on. So in this series there are infinite number of negative terms, so we cannot apply integral test to this series. Finite number of negative terms are allowed. Suppose we have this type of series, minus 1 by 2 minus 1 by 3 and so on, minus 1 by say 30 plus sigma 1 by n, n is from 1 to infinity. So here we can apply integral test. Finite number of negative terms are allowed. Here an is 1 by n, which is greater than 0 for all n greater than or equal to, here we have to write 31. So after n equal to 31, all the terms are positive. So finite number of negative terms are allowed, but ultimately what is required, that if we want to apply integral test, then an must be positive for all n greater than some fixed number, say capital N. So in this case our number is 31. After 30 or starting from 31, all the terms are positive. So this type of series is known as positive term series or positive series. So integral test is applicable for positive term series only. So this is all about this session. I hope you like this lecture. Thank you.